What's up guys, and welcome back to another Clash Royale video. And yes, today we are looking at what could potentially be the 4 new cards that potentially could be coming into Clash Royale. Now like I said, this is not 100% confirmed, but I have a pretty good source from this information, and the source usually manages to guess all the new updates, all the new cards, and if not, just anything that's in the game files. So this source, as you may have guessed it, is actually a Pegit studio, and they're actually providing me with today's information. So in just a while, I'll be talking over all 4 cards. I'll be discussing one card at each exact kind of time. I'm not just going to say all the cards at once. I'm going to basically say out one card, and I'm going to talk about how it may look, what it may do, and whether I think it will be added, and then I'm going to go to the next one, and so on and so forth. So guys, I cannot stress this enough. Smash a like on this video. Just leave the biggest amount of likes you can. Everyone who's watching this right now, leave a like for good luck. Just leave a like, and hopefully we can see these cards come into Clash Royale, because trust me guys, these cards are going to be insane. Let's just try and break like 5,000 likes or something along those lines, because that's a pretty high goal. So I believe in every one of you guys. If this video actually breaks 5,000 likes, I'll make a whole new entire clan for many of you guys to join. Okay, so let's start with the cards. So basically, a Pegit said that the 4 new cards, and by the way, this said that this information is not 100% accurate just yet, because it's in the game files. Things in the game files can change, because Supercell can obviously just change the name of the cards. They can even change like the card in general. Maybe they don't want to add the card at all anymore, so they can replace the card with another one. But as of just now, I'm going to be stating all 4 new cards that could potentially be coming. So the first one is, some of you guys may have already known this, but it's the Ghost card. So the Ghost, as you may know, is pretty Halloweeny. Now this made me think whether Clash Royale and Supercell are going to be adding a new mini Clash Royale update for Halloween this year, because last year they actually didn't add one, and they didn't change like any looks of any cards, any arenas, they didn't add any spooky like sound effects, just anything to celebrate Halloween, not even a like different loading screen change. But hopefully we could see that this year, and maybe Supercell are going to be releasing these cards somewhere around that time, because as you know, they released a new update yesterday, but however we still never managed to like see what the new cards are, because they are keeping it private, and also the new arena. So maybe this could be like sort of something like a Halloween special. So the Ghost card, there is a mock-up image of basically how Supercell described it to look in Royale. Now here's the image on the screen right here. Some of you guys, well, most of you guys will have seen this if you've seen Royale. Basically, they said that this was going to be the Ghost card before they actually killed it and decided not to add it in the game for whatever reason it was. So potentially, guys, this is what the Ghost card could look like. Maybe they added a few different changes to it. Maybe they're not making it look the exact same, because that would be a little bit kind of repetitive. Because if Supercell say they're going to eliminate and or kill a card completely from the game, they best mean it. Otherwise, they would have to add some minor changes to the card, unless they're going to change the card massively. Or maybe they might even make it look completely different to the mock-up image that they made of him, and that's probably why they decided to re-add this Ghost card into the game file. Maybe they're going to do a little beta test with their kind of like workers, I guess you could say, and they're just going to use this Ghost card in action. They're going to see and decide for themselves whether it's worthy enough to be in the game, but for now, we never know. This Ghost card may come or it may not. Now, I'm thinking for the new arena, judging by the other cards on this list that I'm about to tell you guys, I will tell you guys the name of the arena at the end and what I think the name of the arena will be, just simply judging by these cards. But yeah, do I think that the Ghost card will be added? Potentially, yes. I'm going to say there's like a 70% chance of the Ghost being added, as it was really heavily rumored and Supercell basically said it themselves. So 70% chance of probably being added into the game. Okay guys, so now that one's out of the way, most of you guys already knew about that one, but the next one will probably be interesting for most of you guys. So the next card the Pegit said that they found in the game files that was new is actually a magical archer. Yes guys, I know what you're thinking, they're adding another archer card. So we already have the princess, the archers. As you know, Supercell use a bunch of archers in their game in Clash of Clans and Clash Royale, and we're getting another archer card in this game, and it's going to be basically called the Magical Archer. Now I'm not sure whether this means actual magical archer or maybe like a hero, like an archer queen. I really don't understand, but this translation in Russian is basically saying magical archer, so that's what I'm going to stick with right now. Now it did say archer and not archer, so this is not going to be like a group card. This is just going to be one archer. So for one archer to have its own card, surely this thing has to be either overpowered as hell, or it just has to be some sort of like big heavy tank archer. This is what kind of makes me think that it might be an archer queen. So if I picture a magical archer in my head, I kind of think of definitely something to do with purple, because obviously if we're going to have magical chests that are purple and pinky, then I guess we're supposed to have an archer that's like that, but then We already have archers with pink hair, so it would be kind of repetitive if Supercell decided to add basically just an archer, but an upscaled version to make it look a lot bigger and make it have more health and damage. So potentially this one could have, for example, green hair, could have a different bow, different cape, a different costume altogether, and maybe even a different just like facial structure, because some builders we have different facial structures and all builders are basically the same, and obviously if the archers are the same, then we should definitely have other facial expressions for archers. So yeah, that's just my opinion on this. What I think it will do, I think it will act the same as an archer, but it might have some sort of kick to the arrows. So similar to the archer queen and the princess, they have their own little styles. So basically the princess has some sort of like flamey, long-ranged arrows from her bow, and then the archer queen obviously has like a trident X bow from her bow. So potentially this archer could have a bow that could, for example, if you shoot a arrow from the bow, it could potentially leave something like an after effect afterwards, maybe like a freeze effect, or maybe even like a healing effect for your cards. You never know, guys. Since this is magical archer, potentially you can use it to heal your own troops. So if she shoots like an arrow near the premises of like your troops are, they need their health regenerated, she might be there to help you out. There's just like limitless ideas to this. I really don't know what else to say about this card. I'm just going to leave it up to you guys in the comments below. What do you think that this magical archer card will do, how it will look, and what do you reckon the elixir cost for this card would be? Do you think it would be overpowered or really weak compared to the archers? And yeah, just give me your thoughts in the comments, but that's basically all I wanted to say about this card. This next card is very interesting, and it does also remind me of a card that was eliminated by Supercell's list, and it actually is the Barrel of Barbarians, or Barbarian Barrel, whatever you guys want to categorize it as. But basically, Pegget stated that the Barbarian Barrel was in the game files. Now, this simply easily reminds me of like the little building that Supercell said they were going to add, called basically the Barbarian Launcher, and it would basically be a little building that just shoots out barbarians onto the map. So I'm guessing instead of adding some sort of Barbarian Launcher, they just decided to add a barrel with, I don't know, 2 barbarians, because 2 is probably the perfect amount of barbarians, because 3 is kind of too much and overpowered, and 4 is definitely something you don't even want to touch. And plus these barrels must be really big to hold these barbarians in them, because as we already know, we already have goblin barrels, which is a pretty big barrel, and it already holds 3 goblins, which are pretty tiny compared to the barbarians. So let's talk about this card and what I think about this card. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this, because I don't really not see this card being used by myself anytime soon if it actually manages to come into the game. This would either have to be one of those cards that's like super expensive, or it would just have to be kind of weak and underused and underrated. But basically what I think this card would be, you basically just summon 2 barbarians, you can fly them anywhere in the map just like a goblin barrel could, and basically it would just spawn 2 barbarians to fight. I think it would be a pretty simple card, but I'm really not a big fan. I don't know about you guys, but I really don't think that I'll be using this card. I mean, I probably will use this card eventually, but it's not like a card I'll be placing in my deck, every single deck, and I'll be like, oh, this is the best card in the game. Because I simply just don't dig this idea, and yeah, what they will look like, I'm pretty sure it just look ordinary, like a big barrel with just the same looking barbarians that we usually have, unless Supercell actually decide to add some sort of like variety to the barbarians and how they will look. I'm pretty interested to see how the barrel would look, because it would look pretty massive on the screen when you're flying across. You could kind of be like disguising it as a rocket, I guess. If it's gonna be that big, then I guess you could do the tactic where you can hide it under the rocket, because there actually was a secret little strategy where you could throw a rocket in a goblin barrel at the same time, and the goblin barrel would be hidden. But now with this barbarian barrel, if this is actually going to be true, that's going to be really useful for that strategy. But apart from that, I've really got nothing else to say. I'm going to leave it up to you guys. For every one of these cards, I'm going to ask you guys what you think in the comments below. However, there's still one more card that I'll need to talk about, so don't leave just yet. And this last card is going to be the sneaky archers, guys. Yes, another archers card coming. I already said this before. The magical archers coming, which makes a lot of archer cards in the game altogether. And now we have sneaky archers. And guys, if you actually didn't already know this, sneaky archers are actually a troop from within Clash of Clans. And Supercell added this recently in the update of basically the builders based night mode, whatever you want to call it, where you can basically go across the boat to another island and basically just start up your own little base there on the night village, where basically the master builder helps you build a bunch of stuff. Basically, this is the second troop you unlock in the builder barracks after the raged barbarians. So the sneaky archers are just basically exactly what it sounds. They're archers, they're pretty sneaky. They actually have an invisible cloak that lasts them for a certain amount of time. Now, if this is true, this is going to be very useful to come to Clash Royale, because you're gonna have to play these cards very secretly. Because if this is true, the sneaky archers would have to have some sort of invisibility cape, unless they're just going to be normal sneaky archers. But however, if they actually are going to be the same as the ones from Clash of Clans, they're going to have an invisibility cape for a certain amount of seconds, seconds right before your opponent basically sees them. Now this is actually what the sneaky archers look like. They're basically just archers with their hoods up. Their arrows from their bows look actually pretty different when they shoot them. They shoot kind of like pinky little arrows, so potentially we could see this instead of seeing like the normal arrows that the archers shoot already in Clash Royale, because they're just normal ordinary ones that don't have any kick to them. But the sneaky archers do have some sort of light up arrows that kind of make it look like some sort of glowing flaming arrow, which would make it a lot more cooler. But yeah guys, if you don't know what the sneaky archer is, there's no point of me just sitting there and explaining it for those of you who already know, but you could just simply type in Clash of Clans sneaky archer on like a YouTube video and just click on anyone and basically just watch their gameplay. And it's basically the same exact card that they are showing the gameplay of that Apegit said may be getting added into this new Clash Royale update as one of the new cards. So yes guys, I did just talk about all the 4 new cards. Thank me later if these cards are actually coming out soon. In terms of the rarities of these cards, I'm really not sure. My guess would be that the Barbarian Barrel would be some sort of rare or epic. The Magical Archer may potentially be a legendary. The Ghost card may potentially be a legendary. And also the Sneaky Archers, I reckon they'll be a rare card at the most, if not a common card. But yeah, I'm just going to say a rare card. So those are my opinions for this new kind of Clash Royale new cards and what the rarities will be. And like I said, my thoughts on what this arena would be called. Tell me what your guys' arena name would be for all of these cards. Like if you saw all of these cards, the Ghost, the Magical Archer, the Sneaky Archers, and obviously the Barbarian Barrel, what would you call the arena for these cards? Because the name I have in mind for this arena would actually be the Mythical Arena or the Mystical Arena, because all these cards are kind of mystical. They're kind of like magic in a way. The Ghost is kind of magic. The Magical Archer, obviously that's kind of magical, so that's another aspect to it. So I guess this is going to be the end of the video. Go share this to all your friends. Just tell all your friends that these could be the new cards that you may be playing with in a couple of months' time. If you want to get yourself some free Clash of Clans and Clash Royale gems, head on over to the top link in the description below called Free Gems. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.